We're so glad that we get to spend time together in community. It is Monday, January 22nd, and we thought we'd kick it off with hearing about Saturday because I think in all my 6.5 years of coaching, our event on Saturday is what I've heard the most feedback on. So we would love to hear from a couple of you who were on. If you want to raise your virtual hand, we would love to know what did you really like about it and what resonated or any feedback you've been getting from clients. We probably have time to hear for one or two people.
I'll go, Meg, if you don't mind. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I was out of town, but I've talked to two clients today and they absolutely loved it. They said if we ever do anything, that they highly recommended it. And I got to go back and watch it now. So thank you. They loved it.
Good. Did they say what they loved about it?
They whoever talked about the brain and that they said was amazing since I didn't get to see it. And then they loved the cooking demonstration
Yes.
as well. So perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. Vicky, how about you?
Yeah, really fast, but I'm going to tell you kudos to every single person who spoke on that call, starting with you guys, which you guys are always wonderful, and we always expect that from you, and we're never disappointed. But every single person who spoke to the entire audience. The whole brain thing, which could go in a direction where we would all be going, what? Was clear, understandable, fun, positive. Uh, people's stories were different, they were unique, they had different points that they brought out, and the cooking demo was done in a professional way that was beyond my expectations. So honest to goodness, I thought it was phenomenal.
That's awesome. Thank you, Vicky. All right, Kelly, you'll be our last one. And you're muted,
Kelly.
Okay, here we go. I wanted to mention that several of my clients were on that call and were very, very impressed. I mean, it was a situation of that you could tell in the tone of their voice when they were talking to me. That was wonderful, kind of thing. And specifically mentioned all the same things that Vicky just said. But they were excited about the cooking demo, and that there were a lot of things that stood out to them. Both they were medical professionals and education professionals, and they were like, "Oh, that's all the stuff I'd forgotten about studying that before," and it meant a lot to them, and how it was right on with what needed to be said. So everything about it was top notch. So very impressed.
Thank you for that feedback. And thank you to Carolyn, to Robin, to Stephanie for just such an and the clients that spoke as well. But if you're sitting there being like, oh, I missed out, don't worry, we recorded it. But we wanted you to hear from your fellow coaches because we think this is a great opportunity for you to go ahead and send it to your clients who weren't on, because I'm telling you what, I have never heard feedback about the brain and the cooking demo. This was such a stellar Zoom. So highly recommend sending
Can
it
I
out.
add something with that, Meg? Yeah, with you guys, I mean, thank you for inviting, right? Like we had incredible presenters, but you guys were on and you invited. But I told Meg today, I was blown away, and it's grown by 20 more people since I told Meg. We had 82 people on live, and I think that was a great number, and they all stayed on. That's one thing we pay attention to, right? If you're providing engaging content. But we've had 83 views of the replay. So you guys are already sharing it out, right? Or we sent it to people and they're watching it again. So yeah, Meg, I mean, if you want to share with them how to send it out or whatever, I think that would be a great tool.
Absolutely. So if you want to send it, if you were registered, you should already have the email that has the link, but we will go ahead and post the deposted the recording, but I'll post it again. But highly recommend inviting all of your current clients or even prospective clients to the call, and invite them to the challenge that started today as well. I think that would be a great thing.
Yeah, that's so good. And before we go any further, we're going to do a huddle up after this with everybody who participated in the 21-day Revive and Thrive Coach Challenge. But I know a few of you guys commented that you know, some of us, and life happens, right? We always measure progress over perfection. But if you were one of the people who stayed on your eating plan for the entire 21 days, would you raise your virtual hand? Because I want you to get a round of applause from your peers here. I know some of you guys are on there. Shelly, awesome. Lucy, can you raise your virtual hand so we can get you up there on the screen? Lucy, Stephanie, Connie, awesome. Awesome. Rebecca, look at that. Shelly, you were traveling too. That's crazy. Yeah, so good. Vicky, oh, that's applause from Vicky. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Well, everybody be on the call afterwards. We're going to have some prizes, but just big shout out to you guys for committing, leading with your health. Lucy, can you maybe just pop off mute for just a second and just say what this has done for you?
Made me a believer again. You know, May of 2020, so what, 3 years, 8 months ago is when I started. So you can so easily forget how it felt. And I think for me, it was just really, it helped me to believe again, because I'd always kind of teetered, okay, can I really do it? And not that I was perfect in it, but I stuck to it because I said I was not going to quit. And I'm proud of myself. I mean, I had a goal of 10 pounds. I did 6.5, I made 6.5. But just knowing that, like I said, to believe in myself and know that I can do it. And then the pod was just amazing. I love my pod.
Oh, such good feedback. Made me a believer again. Good, good, good. All right. Well, we are going to keep rolling because we want to have some time for questions on this and address the topic of where do I find clients? I think that has been one of the most common things I keep hearing in mentoring sessions is, what do I do? What should I be doing? So want to have Mandy Mail come on. Mandy, I love, is one of those, you know me, I'm like, let's just keep it real. Let's talk the real story. But Mandy was one of the first who earned the 3% client support bonus for our group. And so I was like, hey, Mandy, well, you want to come on, kind of share with us how's your mindset been? Where do these clients come from? But you said some key things in your response.
Yes, thank you. It's really funny because when Dee asked me if I would be willing to share, because I was, one of the first ones that got that bonus, I was like, honestly, I have no idea where they came from. Like, they were reactivated clients. I have no fresh client perspectives. And so I was hesitant, and I was like, other than sending out a weekly newsletter, and I definitely send out a weekly text to all of my clients. And then I send a weekly voice message or whatever. I just felt like I wasn't deserving of, being on here and talking about that, because I didn't really feel like I did anything special, if that makes sense. So I definitely feel like I'm staying connected, if that makes sense, but I'm not really, I don't feel that I've done anything that's extraordinary. And so, hopefully this kind of resonates with people that struggle with keeping your clients connected, because I've certainly had a very difficult time getting response from my clients. They either don't pick up the phone, don't respond, don't answer me, just completely ghost me. But yet some of them are still ordering. And, then I had 3 that reactivated. So, and out of those 3 that reactivated, 2 connected with me, and the other one has not responded to me. So I think it's really just about small, consistent steps. And I think that goes with your health, that goes with coaching clients, mentoring, coaches, all of it. It's just daily action. And I definitely hit a rut, at a few different points in the past year but I did come into 2024 with a shift of mindset. Like, I'm not going to let this fail. I'm not going to completely fall off the grid, if that makes sense. You know, I may not be where I want to be in my business. I may not feel like I'm helping a ton of people, but the ones that I am, it feels really good. And it's really encouraging to continue to move forward. So I actually set a goal for myself this month to get one more client, because I haven't had a new client in like 3 months. But I've stayed consistent with reaching out. And I actually, Dee, it's interesting. I got a text from a client that connects with me regularly today. And she said she has another referral for me. And so she wanted to put us on a 3-way text. So that's really all I got. I don't feel like I've done anything other than stay connected enough, if that makes sense. Enough so that when I was ready to keep moving, that I could. And I'm not starting from ground zero.
I love that. I love that. And that, I think what we're going to talk about tonight, and a lot of the actions, you've been doing the actions. It didn't feel like much. It didn't seem like much, but doing that weekly newsletter, they're getting touches from you. And obviously the touch to them via text, via a verbal, via whatever kind of message, even if they don't return it, they come back. Right. And that's huge. And then I loved your conviction. And I think that's what Tim Tebow, that's why we wanted to share that message tonight, because you know what I mean? Emotions, right? We can get discouraged, we can get down, but when you're convicted to what it is you're doing, what you're offering, like you said, you may not feel like you're helping many, but you're not going to go down, right? Like you're going to keep outreaching. So I love that. Well, good. Meg, you want to take it from here?
Absolutely. And I loved, there was a great thing in the chat from Rebecca. She said, what I hear is that even though they couldn't be consistent, you were consistent. So they knew that they could re-engage and count on you. I think that's what we offer to people, right? And I think about what Lucy shared about how she's a believer again. I mean, that's the opportunity for all of us, right? To believe in our clients before they're ready to believe in themselves. And so that's, you know, every time you call, even if they don't answer, that's the gift that you are giving them, the gift of somebody believing in them. So we wanted to remind you, there's a couple of different ways you can get a new client, right? So let's just talk about what is a new client. A new client is a brand new person, brand new to Optavia, or a client who was a part of Optavia in the past and has re-engaged with you. And keep in mind, if that client has not ordered in 180 days, which is 6 months, they qualify for $115 off plus free shipping. Y'all, that is a big deal. So Optavia treats them as a brand new client and treats them as a new client for the Client Support Plus bonus as well. Dee, I know you've got a lot of ideas on where to find these clients. Where would you say a good place to start would be?
Well, I think the one thing Mandy talked about was you want to keep you're a brand, right? They want to do business with you, and so consistently providing value is super important. So in the back office, we have the beautiful Optavia newsletter in Optavia Share. And that is something that I often hear from coaches like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get back. I've been meaning to learn how to do that or whatever. Meg, I know we have a link we can put into on how to find different things. But in the link tree, the Dream Team link tree is a video on how to utilize the back office and utilize the Optavia Share newsletter. So this is prepared by Optavia. It's available on Monday of every week of every year. And I send it to my current clients, my inactive clients. They all get it together. And then I keep a running contact list in the back office of candidates. So these are people in my world that I have gotten permission to put them on this newsletter. So if I've done a health assessment and they're not ready, I'll say, would it be okay if I added you to my weekly newsletter? It's got great tips. It's got a new recipe every week, some inspiration stories. 99.9% of the time they say yes. And then they go on it. And I will tell you, I've had people like, they dug it up out of their, trash bin in their email or just pending bin. And I'll get a reply to it from an inactive or from a new saying, I think I'm ready. you know, so those weekly touches can make a really big difference for that. If you feel overwhelmed, like I haven't sent the newsletter, or oh my gosh, I didn't even think to put my not yet health assessment people on a candidate list, just start now. Just start now. Like the next health assessment you do, start a candidate list and they can go on it. Or if you have downtime, you could start to build that.
I
Anything
love
to
that.
add to that, Meg?
Yeah, I would just say too, as we're talking tonight, we want to hear your questions. So pop them in the chat, or we're going to pause here in just a little bit and have a segment. We're going to continue our no dumb questions and have a place for you to ask. So if you're like, hey, where is that in the link tree? We can show you in just a few minutes. But that newsletter is such a great touch point, and you can send it from your phone. Once you have the group set up, it takes like literally 120 seconds to send it from your phone. It is so fast and makes a big difference. The other thing that makes a big difference in finding clients is supporting the clients that we have well, right? The clients we already have, be it 1 or 10 or however many clients you're supporting right now, if we can provide good quality support, not only are we going to help our clients, right, by believing in them and helping them on their own journey, but also they're going to be more likely to send us referrals, which is another way for us to find more people to help. And you're successful. They're going to order longer. They're going to be better clients and better raving fans if you provide that good quality support. I know another idea is to create a hundreds list. Dee, I know you've done this a lot. What can you share with us about that?
Yeah, you know, when I came into Optavia, when I was trained, social media was a very small part of what we did. It really wasn't even a thing yet in our business. So we created what was called a hundreds list. And a hundreds list is something that the top leaders in this organization keep going all the time. And what that means is actually, and you know, the map actually has a list for you to put your candidates on. But this is a running list of people in your world that you would like to, you've either spoken to them and they're not ready yet, or they've just been on your heart, and you're not quite sure how to reach them or what to say or to do. The first thing is to get it from here in your brain onto a piece of paper. And then I recommend keeping that contact list. Somebody said to me, well, I make them and I lose them. I recommend that you use an old school clipboard. If you use an old school clipboard, you know, have it, and then when names come to mind, you can just handwrite it on there, whatever. You can check off if you've reached out to them, but just keep it visible. And Meg just put the link in the chat, but our resources, there's so much available to us. If you're thinking, I don't know how to do that, or I don't know who I would put on the list, there is a training document in Coach Answers that Meg just posted that actually is called How Do I Find Clients and Coach Candidates. So really it's worth that process of working through. And then when you have these individuals on your list, it is what's going to build your business is new connections. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, finding ways to meet new people, right, that you could possibly be positively impacted by Optavia, but also with your existing connections, staying in touch and keeping conversations going. So whether you are starting conversations verbally, like getting out into networking meetings and talking to people, or using social media, it is recommended that you set a goal for a minimum amount of conversations you want to start per day. And if you have not been doing that, maybe you set a goal for 1 per day. And if you did 1 per day, even if you just did it Monday through Friday, that would be 5 new conversations a week times 4 weeks. You will have started communication, 20 people, 20 conversations.
That is awesome. And a great way to find people to help and to continue that conversation. And I'll just share, like, you know, it is important that you relate to them authentically, but also you don't want to just, you know, talk to them about the weather, talk to them about, you know, if they're on your heart, think about a way that you can bring health into the conversation. Rebecca, I see you have a question.
It's actually a comment because the structural tension chart I thought was about my personal goals. And then I just went to that launch. Well, it was called launch before. I can't remember what it's called right now. To this Saturday training.
Coach with Excellence. Yeah.
Yeah, they suggested that you do a structural tension, secondary choices, or, for your business. And I don't know about anyone else here, but I get all this information here, and then I lose it once I get busy in other things. But starting that structural tension for my business has been very helpful.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so there's a 6-week Coach with Excellent training series that started this past Saturday with other leaders from the organization. So it's Saturdays for 6 weeks from 11 to 12. And I can post the Facebook group link that you can join in to get those replays if you missed this past week and to participate in the future ones. But highly recommended. Sometimes just a little nugget like that, Rebecca. The key is not to just sit and absorb a ton of training and not imply it, but putting that into action. I love what you said.
Yeah, another place I love to go to see if there's a client that I can engage with is the expiring rewards report that is in your Optavia back office or Optavia Connect. So that I try to look to see, okay, whose rewards are going to expire over the next week. That means they haven't ordered in 60 days. And you can see when their next scheduled order is set to go. So that can show you if some of them are going to meet that date. I don't worry about contacting them. But if they're going to lose out on their rewards and their free shipping and all the things, such a great time to connect with them and find out, okay, what are they doing? And are they really using the plan the way that it was designed? Are they jumping in with the community? Maybe this is the time to jump in with this challenge or the Saturday event that they didn't get to see. But I have a feeling if they've got expiring rewards, they're not taking advantage of all that Optavia has in store. So that's one thing to think about. And kind of another thing that I haven't done in a while, and I'm wondering if you might not have done it as well, on social media, have you done a post recently that's kind of shared who you are and what you're all about and what you want to talk to people about? I met somebody recently and she was like, "Hey, I think you do something about like health. Tell me more about that." And it was just such a good reminder that people need to be reminded. They don't just know that we want to talk to them. So doing a post to just remind people of what lights your heart on fire definitely is a good idea to do on social media.
And I just did one today. I knew we'd be talking about that. It'd been on my list to do and had not done it. I was a little more verbose than I like. I'm just going to leave it, but I think it could be shorter. But just putting it out there so that people kind of see who you are as a person. Remember, we're a relationship business, and the more people know about you, and as you are out and about meeting new people, if you pinned that on your Facebook page, when they go and look in your newsfeed, they would see, and get to know you. And that's another big piece of this. And I know several on our team are starting to do this, and I am back out. I call it putting on my big girl clothes and out networking, meaning that I'm going to organize networking meetings with other business owners to build relationships and refer to each other. So I recently rejoined a BNI chapter. That had been a big part of my business for 8 years before the pandemic. And then so I rejoined that. And today I went to a women's networking group that was an open networking groups. But getting out into your community is a great thing. Now, if networking is not for you, we've talked about this before, getting out, maybe, taking a class at your rec center that's inexpensive and an area you're interested in, or whatever, just getting out to have the opportunity, not to recruit clients, whatever, but to build new relationships with people. I like networking because it is very business focused. It's easy to bring up your business and to talk about it, etc. If you're going other avenues, and I built my business that way, Meg knows about my year of yes, where I said yes to every social event that I did. That's a softer touch in people, but one of my top coaches came from that year of yes, just through conversations. So anything to add there, Meg, around that?
No, but I'm just curious and what questions people have. I would love to jump to that segment of tonight. So if there is something that you've been wanting to ask, but maybe, you feel like you should know the answer to it, we would love for you to ask it now. So either pop it in the chat or raise your virtual hand or pop off mute even. We would love to know, what do you have questions about?
Hey, Meg, I don't have a question, but I want to piggyback on the networking thing. So one
Great.
of the things that I do a lot of networking too, and I'm doing it more this year, but one of the things that I'm trying to be intentional with is then to set up one-to-one meetings with the people in the room. It allows you to do a deeper dive into what they do and better understand, and it gives them the opportunity to better understand what you do. Because sometimes people talk and I'm like, I totally don't get that. But if I sit down with them and meet over coffee, you have an opportunity to get to know each other better. And it's a better chance to build more relationships from there. So don't just give your elevator pitch and go home.
That's a great point, Gina. Thank you for sharing that with us. Lucy, you've got your hand raised. Oh, you're muted. There you
Sorry, I'll mute myself. And I don't have a question either. I always say too, don't forget the circles that you already have around you. I'm not much of a big network person, but I am a social bug, so to speak. And one of the things that I started doing is just reaching out to people who go to church. And even my current clients, and asking if I can do Health and Hope events at their home. I used to sell Pampered Chef for years, and that's where I thrive. That's why I loved, and not that this is that type of business, but it gets me in front of people and more people in one sitting as opposed to one-on-one, but that will lead to one-on-ones with the individuals. And like today I met with a pastor of a church, and she absolutely loves it. Wants to do it herself, and we're going to reconnect on Thursday, so that I can do a presentation with. She has a small church, only 20 people, but she wants me to do a presentation for the members of her church in her home, because they meet in her home. So I think just not forgetting the avenues of where our day-to-day, what we're involved in, and those are some gold mines there as well.
That's a great point. Thank you, Lucy, for sharing that.
Somebody just asked about, can we use business cards? I think business cards are a great idea. I had actually started networking again, and I pulled out my business cards, and my picture was like 4 years old. I was like, all right, this has got to change. So just went to Vistaprint, printed inexpensive, but they have incredible templates. I'm happy to post a picture of it. I made a link tree with a description of myself and had a QR code on the back of it, so somebody can get linked to a health assessment, connect with on social media. So if you want to be, really, if you're out and about anywhere, having some cards with you or connecting, we don't just hand them out. You try to exchange, try to get their number. But at my networking event today, was able to exchange with almost 30 people.
That is awesome, Dee. And Canva also has a relationship with FedEx. So in Office Kinko's. So you can design it in Canva and have it automatically sent to Kinko's to pick up, which is another great option too.
Yeah. And if you do business cards, highly recommend you put your picture on it, because that's what people will attach that memory of your face.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Any no dumb questions that they want to ask? Yeah, Rebecca.
I've had a client ask me who she's big into art, and she created her own website. Do y'all have websites outside of what's offered? I haven't really mastered like understanding my website through Optavia, but like personal websites where people can go to just, that isn't, no, not helpful. Just curious.
Dee, do you want to take it?
Yeah, I think a few that maybe have a broader spectrum of things that they offer might have their own personal website. I think that you could potentially end up investing a lot of time and energy and pulling it all together, and most likely not get the outcome that you really want. What I ended up doing was I did just create a free link tree. So you can just follow the link that, that we use for our resources. And I know several of us here have our own personal link trees, but you can use that as a website. If for some reason you're going to a networking event or whatever that people want it, you can put that in there. But that's a link that's something's free for you. It took me probably 45 minutes to put it together, and then people could learn more about you that way too. All right. Well, I see that we are at 8 o'clock. Love the interaction and the connection. And I'm hoping that it's providing great value to you. So we have a lot of clients that are involved in the 21-day Revive and Thrive. That number just keeps increasing of number of people registered. So there is a daily post every day, a color-backed post. We're keeping it super simple, obvious. If you could participate as well, like comment on somebody's comment, just keeping it engaged. I have noticed a turn in clients asking more questions in that group, etc. So the more that we can contribute, I think that group, as we're growing with more clients and reactivated, is going to continue to build again. So that's all I have, Meg. Anything else on your side? All right, well, we're going to stop the recording. We're going to do the week 3 wrap up for our Coach Revive and Thrive. So good to see you guys. We've got time for you Thursday, always an open forum from 12:30 to 1. You come right back to this room with your questions or just for community and interaction. So, all right, have a great night, everybody.